Disaster relief denied a growing crisis. As of late April 2025, a concerning trend has emerged. At least 5 U.S. states have had requests for federal disaster assistance denied by FEMA under the Trump administration. This shift in policy demands our attention. Arkansas, Kentucky, Washington, West Virginia, and North Carolina are among the affected states. These denials raise serious questions about the future of disaster preparedness and response in America. Are we truly ready for the increasing challenges posed by climate change and other threats? Arkansas, reeling from deadly tornadoes, was denied federal aid despite significant loss of life. Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders' appeals were rejected, signaling a change in federal responsibility. This leaves Arkansas and its communities struggling to recover. Kentucky faced similar disappointment after February flooding impacted 8 counties. Governor Andy Beshear expressed his intent to appeal, highlighting the critical need for assistance. The denial of aid to Kentucky underscores the potential consequences of this policy shift. Washington State, hit by a severe bomb cyclone, was also denied a disaster declaration. State officials were surprised, given past precedents for federal aid in similar situations. This denial raises concerns about the consistency and predictability of FEMA's response. West Virginia saw individual assistance denied to 7 counties struck by flooding. State leaders are now exploring options to appeal, emphasizing the urgency of the situation. The impact on affected residents could be devastating. North Carolina's request for extended funding for Hurricane Helene debris removal was also denied. This decision raises concerns about the state's ability to manage ongoing recovery efforts. The financial burden now falls squarely on the state. Under the Trump administration in 2025, FEMA's disaster relief approval process has undergone significant changes. These changes shift more responsibility to state and local governments. Understanding these shifts is crucial for homeowners. President Trump signed an executive order transferring disaster preparation responsibilities from FEMA to state and local entities. The order emphasizes common-sense investments, but lacks specific details on funding or measures. This shift places a greater burden on local resources. The Building Resilient Infrastructure and Communities (BRIC) program has been terminated. All applications from fiscal years 2020-2023 have been canceled, and funds are being returned. The administration deemed the program wasteful and ineffective. FEMA plans to require nearly all full-time staff to deploy annually to disaster zones. This initiative expands the emergency role of FEMA's staff, engaging all employees in disaster management. This change coincides with the broader shift in preparedness responsibilities. Proposals have been made to reduce or dismantle FEMA, suggesting states should handle their own disaster responses. Critics warn this move would be disastrous, especially for poorer states. The potential consequences are dire. Executive Order 14180 established the FEMA Review Council to assess FEMA's performance. The council aims to evaluate FEMA's efficacy and priorities in disaster response. This review could lead to further changes in the agency's role. BRIC, or Building Resilient Infrastructure and Communities, was launched in 2020. It aimed to fund pre-disaster projects, making infrastructure more disaster-proof. The goal was to save money by preventing catastrophic damage. BRIC focused on upgrading flood systems, strengthening electric grids, and reinforcing bridges. It also supported wildfire mitigation and vulnerable low-income communities. These projects were designed to protect lives and property. The Trump administration claimed BRIC was wasteful and ineffective. They accused it of being politicized and pushed for state and local control. However, this claim doesn't hold up under scrutiny. Studies show that every $1 spent on mitigation saves $4 to $6 in disaster recovery costs. Communities using BRIC grants suffered less damage and quicker recoveries. Rural areas and small towns benefited significantly. Killing BRIC is like refusing to fix a leaky roof until the ceiling collapses. It's a short-sighted decision with long-term consequences. The wasteful and ineffective claim is political spin, not reality. Insurance is required by law because society recognizes that bad things happen. You can't drive without car insurance because if you cause a wreck, the other person would be screwed if you have no money. You need homeowner's insurance if you have a mortgage because the bank needs to protect its investment in case your house burns down. Even some health insurance is now functionally required because unpaid medical debt breaks the economy. Insurance is a preventive financial buffer against potential disasters. But what about disaster mitigation? BRIC was essentially insurance for communities. It aimed to prevent damage before it occurred, saving money and lives. It's the same principle as insurance, applied to infrastructure. The hypocrisy lies in the fact that insurance companies profit from mandatory coverage. Infrastructure upgrades don't generate ongoing profits for investors. Politicians favor insurance mandates over slow, steady investments like BRIC. When a disaster hits, the federal government can still sweep in with emergency aid. This looks heroic but costs far more than prevention. Profit trumps logic in this scenario. The icy truth is that individuals are expected to prepare and pay constantly. But the government is reluctant to spend money on collective preparedness. It's rugged individualism when it costs you, but government handouts when it saves you. Without mitigation, insurance rates will spike, and people will get denied coverage. Increased risk leads to higher premiums or complete policy cancellations. Redlining for disasters will become more common. Entire towns can get blacklisted by insurers, leaving residents without coverage. Mandatory insurance combined with denials creates a financial collapse trap. People lose their homes, towns hollow out, and services collapse. Insurers have zero incentive to keep rates affordable without mitigation programs. They're for profit, and more risk equals more profit. They'll raise rates, shrink coverage, and exit markets entirely. The government, which used to help strengthen homes and towns, is now saying, "Not our problem." Billion-dollar insurance companies will continue to profit from your pain. In just the past year, Florida lost over 15 insurance companies because of hurricane risk. California lost major insurers refusing to cover wildfire zones. Texas saw flood insurance premiums double for some homeowners after FEMA flood map revisions, even when the home never flooded. Kentucky is already flagged by insurers for rising flood, tornado, and severe storm risks. Disaster risk is rising, prevention spending has been axed, and insurance will become harder to afford. The rich will self-insure, while everyone else will be told, "You should have planned better." We live in a country where you're forced to buy insurance because they know disasters happen. But when it comes to protecting your community with smart prevention, suddenly it's wasteful spending. They killed the programs that made our towns safer. They gutted the resources that kept insurance rates livable. They handed disaster risk back to us with a smug shrug, knowing full well that the average working family can't afford to pick up the tab. So let me be clear. This is not just negligence. It's sabotage dressed up in a cheap suit of self-reliance. Insurance companies are getting richer, politicians are getting louder, and regular people, we're getting stuck with premiums we can't pay and communities we can't save alone. We don't need more empty speeches about personal responsibility. We need leadership that values prevention, preparation, and people over profit. Grassroots mutual aid networks have emerged as a vital resource during disasters. These networks facilitate the sharing of resources, skills, and information among community members. By fostering strong local connections, they enhance resilience and ensure that vulnerable populations receive timely assistance. Platforms like GoFundMe have become essential tools for communities to raise funds quickly after disasters. While crowdfunding can provide immediate financial relief, it's important to note that funds raised for specific expenses may affect eligibility for certain federal assistance programs. Given the evolving landscape of disaster preparedness and insurance, it's crucial for community members to stay informed about local initiatives and participate in planning efforts. Engaging with local emergency management agencies and attending community meetings can provide valuable insights and opportunities to contribute to resilience-building activities. Because if they won't build the safety nets, we'll build our own. If they won't invest in our survival, we will invest in each other. And when the floodwaters rise, when the fires come, when the storms hit, it will be a community that stands tall helping one another, not cowardly politicians hiding behind excuses. This is Truth with Chili and my Friday Rant. Subscribe for free for more breakdowns of the things they don't want you to know.